Well, we're back again. I wanted to do something. I told you I had another way. I wanted to do the oars, and I made up another set of blades. I've got this side is glassed over. It was smooth, and then on this side I just had one layer of 4mm on top of the other layer of 4mm, and then I've already got it faired around on both of them. And I'm going to be doing something a little bit different along the edges from what I did the last time. But we'll get to that when we get to it. And I've already taken a couple of the 1 5/16". Remember, we're making these things using 1.5" aluminum tubing, 0.065 wall thickness, 1.5" tubing, which is more than adequate. And then the 1 5/16" doweling with 2 full wraps of glass cloth around it. Fits really nice and tight, but I've already run them a little bit through my my lathe to give a little bit of a shape. And then on the part that goes in on the blades, I mounted this wooden block to make it flat going through the bandsaw table so it can't twist on me. And I got my fence up that'll ride along this side. We'll show that when I'm cutting one out. And then I've got some center line marks already. And the other thing too is on the wheels. I've already made some adjustments. I went and beveled this back about 2 inches. More so, I should have probably done that originally. I'll paint that maybe sometime, who cares. And then I replaced that little rod I had with something a little more substantial. Now this was an old roller cage for like a 3-inch roller cage that they don't make those kind, you know, it fell apart and I had replacements. So the handle was sitting around and it was nice and sturdy. I probably should have used one that had the metal, if you do it, you got one, get one with the metal ring around the end here, and that'll keep it from splitting out. I don't know if I'll have to replace this in the future or not, but I bored a hole and then set this in epoxy. And now I use probably about a 5-foot wooden handle with the metal threads on the end. It fits perfect and it really goes in easy now. Especially, it's not so bendy because of the shaft, the wood shaft, and then this tapering thing makes all the difference in the world for getting it in and out easily. So let me go over to the bandsaw and we'll set up on what I'm going to do with this guy here with the block. Okay, as you can see right now, I got my fence set up. And I've got this one that's already got where we at here? A line off the center line on my first cut. And so it's going to get noisy now. And I've also got a depth gauge. I want to go back to this line, but I can't go back to here because there's a screw over here and I'm not going to ruin another blade. So, make certain you got it down hard. Now I'll measure my offset and we'll come back after I've done it. Basically, I'm going to just use a couple scrap pieces of 4mm and stick in here, and it should give me the width I need. And you add this in. Then you got your thickness you need. They can't find the answer. Okay. So now I got my cut, which I will cut out with a coping saw. I'll do the other one off camera. I want to have just a little aside here on this thing. Where am I? Here on this. I bought this. It's a Rockwell jaw horse, and I bought it for another purpose, but this thing has been like indispensable around the shop here since I bought it. It's, you know, expandable, and this thing will flip around, so it'll go way out there. I don't think this one's long enough to get a piece of plywood in it, but they have a model that the frame here is longer, that you can put a sheet of plywood in when this one is turned around backwards. But it's got this up and down arrow when you lock and unlock, and you just crank it down and then hit the lock. It doesn't want to do anything until you let go of it. I figured that this thing is so exceptional on this. Put it in the lock. Well, it ain't gonna go anywhere, so just go in. And just cut in an angle. And now we got them both cut out. Just do a temporary slide in here. Oh, what we got here? And this will be much easier to line up, because this thing, I use these as the guides in the saw for these things here. So we got that part on the new blade. It's much easier to line up and to make true. We'll come back when I'm doing this part right here. I'm going to use some easy fillet to throw in along in here, seal off the edge. When I did this side, I came back later after it was turned a little green, and I went around pressing this down on the, so that it would kind of like roll a little bit, because now it gives me a little bit of cupping. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of easy fillet along the edge. I saw this on a storyline about the feathering edges on dagger boards and rudders, the trailing edge, in order to get it thin on the racing guys. And they would get down to like maybe 1/4 of an inch thick on the wood, and then they would fill out the rest with an edge of either fairing compound or something like the wood-filled epoxy here. Zoom in a little bit here, give you a better idea of what I'm doing. Just filling in the crack along here. I was wanting to do this all in one video, but I think it's probably going to run into two. Well, we won't be doing the shafts. I'll do that later, or maybe not. Yeah, just pull it in tight against the plywood. Well, we're back the next day. The fillet material has cured, and I've already taken my scissors once on this one and trimmed off the glass. I was trying to figure out, I was going to wait until I thought, well, let's try it. I get these brain farts all the time, and I was going to sand this down and then put the other layer of glass on top of this and then trim, but then I wonder if I could take my scissors and then just start trimming along the feather edge of where the fillet material thins out to nothing, just into a little layer of glass, and I thought, perfect. Now I can trim it back to an edge I want, a straight line, and then put the other layer of glass on after I sand the face down, and attach it to the edge. And that's basically kind of what you're doing with when I said for the leading and trailing edges for a rudder, a dagger board, the way the Go Fast guys do. They'll come down on the shape of their board until they get down to where they really can't get the wood to get too thin without being fragile. And so they'll stop maybe at 1/4 of an inch, 3/8, something like that, and then build up the trailing edge or the leading edge with fairing compound or fillet compound, and then shape it down with a template to make certain they get the point and it's on center. And then they'll glass it and finish it off, and that'll give them a nice strong point. Plus it seals up the edge of the plywood here, which I didn't do on the other one, which I may get some water intrusion and possible swelling on the other set of blades we made. So let me go ahead and finish trimming this off, and then I'll rasp these down, and or I'll come back when I'm rasping them down, and we'll sand it and put the other layer of glass on. Well, I've got them lined up flat face to flat face, and I've already come through once with my, you know, your Duckworks, well, the Japanese rasp. You can get them from Chuck down at Duckworks. You kind of rasp along and then hold up straight edge to see that you're not getting too far off. If I get these down fairly close, I might run them through the bandsaw just to be a little better. But you can probably do it by just taking your time and doing a good eyeball. There, we're pretty good right there. Maybe one more down through here. There. Finish sand that with some 60 weight, and then I'll clamp it here and then move it around to the other side. When you got the ends, make sure the sides are lined up, and then just lightly go around on the ends for shaping. If it looks good, get your sanding block out. Yeah, I got another piece, new piece of 60 grit, and just kind of gently clean them up. And like we do when we're building the boats, if you're going to have matched pairs, you want to keep them matched up by keeping them clamped down as long as possible. Let me put a block under there. Make it a little more. And then watch, look down and even them up. Not too much in any one spot. That came in pretty good. Probably a lot of this came in well because of when I said that when it was green and I had the glass on the other side, it came in and pushed it back down. I put a pre-curve into it, and on the ends it worked really well. Gave me a fairly consistent piece. So now I got my two edges. You can see where getting too close in here. You can see where the fillet material. Feel it along the edges. Now I want to sand these flat surfaces with my sander, and then we'll get the more glass on it.